The thing about the bullies and what makes it so interesting in the UK, and I want you to pay attention, all of you guys in America and in the UK. First, in the UK is a perfect example on how this idea of, and I'm going to give you the definition of Chico Lopez of the bully breed. And the idea of the bully breed is this, by Chico Lopez: a terrible idea made into a profitable problem, the bully breed. And it's a terrible idea because there was already a dog called Pitbull that has nothing to do as a blanket term, as I say today, but it's a nickname, a short name for a dog that exists already in the 1800s. That is called American Pit Bull Terrier. They took the word pit, they took the word bull, they put them together, and that was the nickname of the dog. You cannot recycle the word today because there is a breed of the real dog. And very importantly, everybody in the 1800s, the 1900s wanted to be part of the American Pit Bull Terriers. So much that the AKC, instead of joining the UKC and work with the breed already established with bloodlines, it's not like you take two dogs and this is one of the biggest mistakes. They say, what breeds they makes to make the pit bull? No. That's not how it happened. How it happened is they started with a developed cross. They were half and a halves. And they developed those crosses into bloodlines. And bloodlines means you have men that work very hard for 20, 30, 40 years to develop certain trails that affect the temperament. Pay attention to the word that I just say. The temperament, the athleticism of the dog, how he breathes, how he runs, the biomechanics, the consistency of the dog, everything that goes around the dog goes into the bloodlines. That's why breeders in the past were important. That's why having a dog that it was a purebred dog was so important back in the days. There was no shelters, there was no rescue dogs. That problem didn't exist. So what they had, it was breeders that were breeding better dogs, making them better, and they were successful, and they had a portfolio of dogs they already bred with success and consistency of somehow. And there was always a compare to what? You compare this guy with that guy with the guy. But those men earned the right to be called breeders, which is not the same thing as breeders today. And this is where everything starts. The breeders today are profiteers, are common dog owners that decide to make leaders and start selling them. And some go very deep into breeding dogs, and they create something that they call a community. And they believe, because of times change, that working as a community will make a better dog. And you know, when you work in a community, what it creates? You lose this thing about competition and one guy trying to be better than the other guy, because you're in a community, you're looking for acceptance, you're looking to compromise, to be complementary to the other guy, and so on and so forth. In the American Pit Bull Terrier, which has an element of competition, everybody was trying to breed the best dog. So a man had a process of breeding the best female, performing female, with the best performing male. They didn't have these dog shows in the American Pit Bull Terriers. And that was a blessing. No judges, no dog shows, nothing. And the best dogs created this dog that was a super dog, and it was very popular, that they called the nanny dog. And what the American Pit Bull Terrier brings to the table, pay attention to these guys, it brings courage, it brings loyalty, it brings friendship, it brings a connection with the human that inspire him or her to become stronger, to never give up, to be relentless and win in life. That is one of the functions of the American Pit Bull Terrier. Because of the laws changing, the better dogs became underground, and the lesser quality dogs were more available to everybody. And the urban cities started growing, and people started to breed those dogs and call them pit bulls, but they are not pit bulls. It will be the same thing as someone having a racehorse, okay, like Secretariat, super horse, $100,000, $100 million, $10 million, whatever you want to call it, and you have a donkey, and you have a plow horse, you have a farming horse, You have a barn horse, and someone walks there, and just because he doesn't know nothing, he looks at the donkey and say that is my favorite choice of a horse because he doesn't know anything about it. And that's how people choose dogs today. But if they were choosing them by their qualities, by their genetics, by their performance, they will choose the racehorse. They will look at the racehorse and they will make a purchase about the racehorse the same way they purchase everything that matters in their life. Why do you own a motorcycle called Harley Davidson? Why do you want to buy this special card or camera or electronics or whatever rather than that? Why do you make a choice when you're buying something if you are making a choice for something that's the best? People wanted to have pure bloodlines. People wanted to have the dog that came from the branded breeder. When you're in the neighborhood, you cannot be a branded breeder. So what they did is they took the word kennel and they attach a name to the word kennel that inspires something that they are not proven on. Let me give you a perfect example. They'll call themselves evolution kennels when the guy has no experience, hasn't proven himself. He probably don't even know what evolution is. They call themselves a king of the mountain kennel, but they never know what the mountain is. They are king of nothing. They call themselves never give up, never quit kennels. They don't know nothing about gameness. So it's a dangerous proposition. That's why I don't associate myself with kennels. Now, please allow me to give you my definition of a bully. A terrible idea made into a profitable problem. It's always been a problem, the bully breed. And the reason is because these guys couldn't have access to the real American Pitbull Terriers. They took some low quality dogs from leftovers from weight pullers and that stuff, and they had an idea in the 1980s to create a dog that they said, we're going to take the aggressiveness of the dog, we're going to take this, we're going to take all these things away. They got rid of whatever was good in the dog, and they wanted a dog. They bred him for the wrong reasons. The size of the head.
Dog without the purpose.
Dog without a purpose. The size, pretending. You know the difference between you being the real deal, like an MMA fighter, and then a bodybuilder is just a pretender. You know, something that's inflated. They came out. They work very hard, but they are not real. You understand? They made of steroids and a whole bunch of stuff.
Stereotype.
They cannot even fight. They cannot protect their own wives. They can even wipe their behinds because it's terrible. So when you're looking at an American bully, you took the American Pitbull, the low quality, but let's just say you took the American Pitbull Terrier, and you took the word pet out of it, which is the area where the American Pitbull was selected for courage, for this, for that, and that's where the nanny dogs came from. By a process of epigenetics, you need to study real scientific breeding. The dogs has been the first biotechnology to humans, and this might sound Chinese to you because most people cannot have a chance to understand these type of things, but they are the first biotechnology of humans are dogs. They took an animal that was a wolf, and they started to breed it like the nicest one with the nicest one. And somewhere many years ago, you had a man that was working with the Smith swords, the guy that's working and building the houses. Everybody had a functionality. But there was also a man that was called a breeder. And that man, his job was to create a working dog for a particular purpose. And that's where the pure breeds came from. The shepherds in Germany and Austria, they needed a German shepherd to shepherd the sheep. The Austrian shepherd, same thing. The dog that goes in the Alps out there in the mountains, San Bernard. All these dogs were created by a group of men. There was someone in Egypt that said, I want to bet, I want to have a horse, I want to have a dog that I can raise. They took the wolf-looking dog and they made the Afghan hound. And this is how all the dogs had a purpose for society. The American bully has no purpose. You made a mutant, an ugly-looking dog based on the opinion of someone that do not know nothing about dogs. And for
they wanted to profit. Everyone around the bullies.
Everything is about the profit.
Registries, judges, breeders,
Absolutely, I agree
and
with you,
everything.
Thais Lopez.
And the two parts that lost on that were the dogs and the owners.
And society lost big time. And what it is they created something that became popular. So it was a process. They didn't have a registry. Nobody wanted to register. Then they make their own registry. Then they became more popular than the original dog, than the American Pitbull Terrier, because everybody was breeding them, and then they came in a perfect time. They came in right before social media, right at the time of the internet. They came in at that time, and they had all this boom based on the internet. Let me give you a perfect sample of a huge problem in the bullies. And let's take the country of England. England came in and did something absolutely self-destructive. They don't have real American Pitbull Terriers in England. And some people are going to get a little bit excited and say the dogs were here, they started, they went to America. It was the Americans that developed these bloodlines. It's the Americans that had the Ertuders, the Carbers, and they had those dogs that came from Ireland, the old family Red Nose, and worked with these dogs. And they had the Fletcher Chavez, they had the Hollingsworth, the Patricks, the Akars, the Lopez that developed these dogs. And we did not need England, the UK for nothing. They call me every single week. People from the UK, from Ireland, trying to get dogs from us, and we don't sell them because those are breeders. So I'll tell you that the dog that they banned this dog in the UK first, and they say they banned the Pitbull. They didn't ban the Pitbull. They banned a mutt that they used to call Pitbulls before they brand them as XL Bullies. It is the same dog, folks. Pay attention. It is the same dog that got banned. The first dog they had that they called Pitbull, and it was attacking and killing children and hurting people. It is the dog that later called the XL Bully.
They were always been bullies.
They always been bullies from the very beginning. And 99.99% of all dogs that people have as pit bulls, they are already a deformation of the real pit bull, because the way they breed them, the way they select them. Breeders are the cause of all the problems today, because what they call breeders is not the same thing that it was a breeder in the past. And I'm talking about always in the past. There were men that sacrificed their lives, they never did it for the profit. They were looking for greatness. Those dogs don't have temperament. And the one thing these dogs have, these XL Bullies and all these other mutts, is they are mutants of a poor quality pit bull, probably a UKC dog and some of the registries. But one of the things that they have really bad is that they're absolutely inconsistent on quality. You have a dog and a litter, everything, the worst parts. You get a dog within a litter, and you'll have a lady that she'll break her t-shirt, run, show her breasts, and say, I protect, I stand for my XL Bully or my Pit Bull. Within the same litter, you might have someone in the hospital that got beat by the same genetic pool. So what you have a huge problem. You don't have consistency, because those guys that call breeders are profiteers, passionate many times, good people most of the times. I don't say they're bad people. They are misguided children of God. Those guys are the same level of quality of IQ and misinformed people as in the times when people say we live in a flat world. Am I correct, Thais?
Yeah. Because when they started looking to breed dogs by the color, by the merle, by the blues, by the head, by this and that, they gave their back to temperament, to consistency, to all the benefits.
Great, Thais, great.
That the great dogs, the real American Pit Bull Terrier has.
And they gave the back to being a real dogman, and they call themselves real dogmen. They call themselves. And let me show you how profits works. I got in the dogs in 1990. And the guys that were in the dogs selling pit bulls, and they like, oh, they got the tattoos of the pit bulls and all this stuff. Those are the worst sometimes. I'm not saying all the time. But when the waves shift for these XLs and these bully mutts and these micro and all these BS, what they did is, and blues, what they did is they left the Pitbulls. They call me all the time. Hey, Mr. Lopez, I admire you. I follow you. You are the best. Blah 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 blah. And how many dogs you have? Oh, I got bullies. I breed bullies. Oh, I had bullies, but now I have Frenchies. So what I'm seeing here in front of me, I'm seeing a complete disaster of a human being that at one time profited from pit bulls. Now he then profited from bullies, and now profits himself from Frenchies. This is the flavor of the moment. Hustler, backyard breeder, profits here, and these are the hard eyes that will have videos with all kinds of special effects and so on and so forth. And you know what happens? Those bully guys, they became much better content creators than a man like me. I'm not good at content creation. I'm great on building the king of all dogs, the real level, elite level American Pitbull Terrier. So folks, again, a terrible idea made into a profitable problem, the bully breed. This is a quote by Chico Lopez that was birthed in October the 26th of 2023.
And you know something that is even worse than the creation of the bully breeds is putting those dogs to attack humans.
Oh my goodness.
They don't know what they are even creating, like getting worse, because one thing people don't understand is this. When dogs taste the blood of other dogs, they understand this is, I need to kill this animal to protect a sheep. I need to kill this animal to protect my family. But once those dogs, they taste the blood and accept,
and the adrenaline is at the highest place.
Exactly, and
yes.
They accept that this is a target, they change completely.
Their DNA, which is the process of what we call epigenetics, and the dog changes. Let me give you a perfect example. Through epigenetics is how dogs were created. That's how you make a bloodhound. That's how you make these other dogs, is through epigenetics. This is, was a Russian doctor, scientist, breeder, that they give him some samples, some wild foxes, and he kept the very rowdy ones and bred them among themselves for 50 years, and he kept the very nicest ones and he bred them amongst the nicest among themselves. Within certain decades, the ears on the foxes dropped, and they started to change colors and becoming a spotted color, just like a street dog in the street. And what happens is, this process, they were the same genetic pool, both branches coming from the same dogs, the same families, no other injection of other foxes, just selecting by their temperament. One softer turned out to become the fox that became friendly, and the colors changed. The body changed. In London, there's a town near London where they found foxes that will come into this upside of the city, and they cut them and they compared them to the ones in the wild. Their snout, it was so much shorter, so they can reach into cans, so they can reach into the garbage, and they were friendly. And some foxes will understand the concept of the light changing on the street light. They understood all these things. They adapt themselves. So animals do adapt themselves. What a breeder does, it does something like this, but the breeder has a purpose to make dogs better. When I started in the dogs, my purpose was for me to own the greatest American Pitbull Terrier, and I had a clear definition that temperament, gameness, and consistency in color, size, and everything else was part of being that final outcome. And we went through the process, traveling the world, going to all these different places and creating these super dogs like Siega the Great, the Bagman, whatever. And we bred those dogs together, and we created dogs that have an absolute amazing temperament and consistency. This is a real breeder. What you guys have on the bullies, and he said, you guys have a bad experiment. That if you saw these old timers that have the old bloodlines, I don't want to burn the guys, the old bloodlines of the bullies in America, very, very first bloodlines, talking about the bully problem and how they can fix the bully problem. They say we need to take this, take that, and mix it, see what happens. We can get some of the genes back. I was in shock. I suspected it that the process of breeding was absolutely crap, but I was in shock to hear it and see it from my own eyes. So I'm convinced the breeders are the first biggest problems. Hustlers, backyard breeders are the biggest problem. If a country that wants their citizens to have great dogs, they got to have certified breeders, just like in the old times, and let them profit from their hard work by giving you results of creating the greatest dogs. The best German Shepherds, the best Rottweilers, the best American Pitbull Terriers. They will not best bullies because bullies are a mutant of a poor quality American Pitbull Terrier. The selection was done wrong from the very beginning. So I'm gonna finish this video and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find some content that added value to your life. If you did, I'm gonna ask you to please be kind so we can show this video to other people. Hit the like button, hit the bell so you can get notifications for videos just like this if you like this type of content, and at the same time also to subscribe to the channel so you can help us grow. If we are in a very weird generation, we are in the tic-tac generation. People used to have 20 years ago, average human being, 7 minutes retention span. Today, we have less than 3 seconds retention span. If you make a video that's long content, they don't like it. They are like a chicken. You know how chicken goes, tick, 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 tick. That's what tic-tac is. They're like idiots, up and down, and we have these stupid people today. If you really care about dogs, you probably seen this video to the very end. Leave us a comment, something positive, and that's all I gotta say. We are 123pitbulls.com, the amazing Thais Lopez, an expert in American Pitbull Terriers, Chico Lopez, the GOAT of American Pitbull Terriers, giving you some content, giving you something for you to work with, and I hope this added value to you. Thank you so much. And Thais, will you say some words before you go?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.